Abhishek Bachchan is not just known for his films, he also speaks English with grace and confidence. But have you ever listened closely to how he speaks? Let's watch some clips of Abhishek fielding questions in English. I'll highlight useful grammar points and vocabulary, as well as pointing out any mistakes and special features in his speech. So stay with me till the end. Not only will you improve your English, but learn about Abhishek and the English language. Let's get cracking.
What was your childhood like? Like, what are some of the memories that come to you during that period? During the
Several, millions of them. But if I had to sum it up, I think I had a magical childhood.
Okay.
For several reasons. Magical because it was very happy and filled with wonder.
Many words in English have secondary meanings. Magical here does not mean relating to magic, but very enjoyable or exciting.
If I ever had a day off, if there was a holiday, or if I'd come back from my boarding school for school holidays, I'd want to spend as much time as I could with my father on a set. It was just this magical world for me, to be seeing people make these great films. But for me, more, it was about what all happened behind the scenes.
Seeing people make these great films. This phrase reminds me of an interesting grammar point. But first, let me ask you this. See someone do something or see someone doing something? Which one is correct? Watch the video till the end because I will discuss it later.
My father was shooting for Namak Halal, which is a film he did. And I remember being there on the shooting of that, but I was very busy just playing with what we call a dolly. A dolly is a trolley of sorts. It runs on two parallel rails, and that's how you see a camera move like this.
When Abhishek said, I remember being there, he used remember to reflect on a past experience, something that had already happened. This is followed by a verb in the ing form. In contrast, remember to do something is a prompt or reminder to carry out a future action. For example, remember to lock the door.
In a film, and those things were pretty new to us. And as a I think I must have been 5, 6 years old.
Wow.
To be taken on a ride on a trolley was far more exciting and entertaining for me and memorable for me than watching the shooting of what went down to be one of my father's most famous songs.
Yeah.
What went down to be one of my father's most famous songs. This is an example of a noun clause. The expression went down to be means became known as or remembered as.
I was not supposed to come back today. I came back only because it's your interview, because I knew I'm going to have a lot of fun.
I
doing this
expect
interview.
nothing else from you. Had you not come back and I'd got to know you've not come back for this interview, you would have hell to pay.
Where were you?
I was in Calcutta. I came back today morning.
Doing what? Chilling? So you were chilling?
Yeah, chilling.
So
with
you
family.
were gonna chill instead of come and do an iconic interview?
Abhishek told the host, you'd have hell to pay. There'll be hell to pay is an idiom you use when you want to emphasize that there will be serious trouble. It's more forceful than simply saying you will be in trouble. In spoken English, this kind of idiom adds color and emotion, making the warning feel stronger.
Now you have to say about both of them.
What I like about her, she's actually, I don't think a lot of people get to see that, but having worked with her, I think she's very chill. She's very cool. I like that. You expect her to be like very diva-esque, but she's a trooper. I like that.
Abhishek used the word diva-esque to describe how people might expect Nora Fatehi to behave. The suffix esque means in the style of or like. So diva-esque creatively suggests someone who acts like a diva, a person who is difficult to please and demands a lot of attention.
When we're sitting, in Bandra Fort in the middle of the night, we're just talking.
Yeah.
And I say, can I ask you something personal? And she knows what I'm going to ask. She's like, yeah, I've been in love. 2 baar hua tha. And I say, well, they say third time's a charm. That's my feeble, terrible attempt at trying to flirt with her.
When Abhishek said third time's the charm, he used a well-known English proverb, also said as third time lucky in British English. It means that if you fail twice, you are more likely to succeed the third time.
It was at 5 a.m. in the morning.
I remember.
And she just turns to me, she goes, yeah?
Yeah.
I just love the way she says that. Yeah, it's just so cool. Yeah. It's just there, and she's not trying to be conscious, trying to be like, yeah, oh, really? Huh? She was just so, and that just makes it. And so I just wish, you're very good, darling. You should have more confidence in your ability as a performer.
Abhishek was redundant when he said 5 a.m. in the morning. The abbreviation AM already means ante-meridiem or in the morning. So saying AM and in the morning together repeats the same idea. Although an inaccuracy, this kind of repetition is common in spoken English, even among native speakers.
Send it to you.
And
They wanna put it
about Remo, what's there not to love? I think Remo is one of the nicest human beings
Absolutely.
I've met in my life.
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
love that about him. And I would be available to him forever, just because he's just one of the purest souls.
Me too.
One of the nicest human beings, one of the purest souls. Seasoned speakers like Abhishek use this structure correctly, but many English learners in India and Bangladesh say it wrong by using the singular form. For example, one of my friend. Since you are watching this video, please always say one of my friends, plural.
What I don't like about him is that in all the songs we've made me dance, and he insists that I do those spins, and I just can't. That's the only thing. I love dancing, and I think I'm a decent dancer.
Yeah, you are.
I just can't do those spins. I always fall down, and he's like, "No, karo." I'm like, "Remo, 25 saal ho gaya. You see it? I keep no," and he keeps forcing me to do that. So,
He insists that I do those spins. This sentence is a good example of the subjunctive mood in English. The subjunctive is used after certain verbs like insist, suggest, demand, and recommend to express a request, command, or wish. In this structure, the verb in the that clause stays in the base form no matter the tense or the number. She insists that he be patient. They demanded that she leave immediately.
Well, what a pleasure. What a pleasure to have you two together. You've never done this before.
No.
Never done this before. Sat down together.
We sit together quite often.
Sat down together for an interview on national television. So tell me, how did you pop the question to the most beautiful woman in the world?
Oprah used a fun English idiom, pop the question, which means to propose marriage. The verb pop here means say suddenly or bring up. And the question refers to the classic proposal, will you marry me?
I was filming in New York for a movie, and I used to stand on my balcony of my hotel room and wish that one day, wouldn't it be nice if I was together with her, married. So I took her to the very same balcony and I asked her to marry me.
That was sweet.
Wouldn't it be nice if I was together with her, married? After if in a hypothetical sentence, we should technically use were with all subjects, e.g. if I were together with her. However, in casual speech, most speakers say if I was. While if I were is more correct in formal writing, if I was is commonplace and widely accepted in conversation.
Parents are not necessarily the best teachers in your words. What are you doing differently with your daughter as a parent?
I think they will show you the way ahead. The one thing I've realized with the younger generations is they're very different. To start with, they have no sense of hierarchy.
The phrase to start with is a conversational connector or a linker. It means first of all or as the first point. The phrase signals that more points may follow, making the speaker's response more structured. Similar expressions include to begin with and for starters.
Like we did. I think when we all grew up, our generation,
Yeah.
we grew up from the generation that once your parents said something, you just listened to it. The younger generation is far more inquisitive. They want to know why. They're not just going to do something because their parents have said it.
Once your parent said something, you just listen to it. Here the word listened is used in its secondary meaning. While the primary meaning of listen is to pay attention to a sound, here it means respect authority and do what was said. This secondary meaning is evident in expressions like listen to your elders or listen to reason.
They're not asking because they're trying to be rude. They
Yeah.
genuinely just want to know why, because they've been trained to ask why
Yeah.
and to be inquisitive. I love that. So they will dictate how we treat them going forward. So how do you do things differently? I think first and foremost to understand that they're not trying to be rude and they're not listening to you.
Yeah.
They are not listening to you. Avishek used a double negative to create a different shade of meaning. This kind of double meaning doesn't cancel out like in mathematics. Instead, it adds nuance or hesitation and often implies a middle ground. For example, I can't not do it means I feel I must do it.
I'll get to films in a second, but I want to focus a little bit more on the family office because that's interesting. So what is the kind of war chest that you're sitting with or working with? I mean, how much of dry powder are you willing to deploy at this point in time across the various ventures that you're looking at and the opportunities that you believe?
Like I said, I'm very conservative.
The phrase war chest is a metaphor originally from military language. It means a large reserve of money or assets that someone can use for investment or competition. Dry powder is another financial idiom that originates from the military. It means cash or liquid assets kept ready for future use. The host is essentially asking, how much money are you prepared to invest or spend right now?
I don't like to talk too much about it because I prefer being quiet. I believe there's a certain amount of dignity in that and just doing the work and let the work speak. That's the way I've led my life. Be it my film career, I've never been the kind of person who's very good at screaming from rooftops about what I do.
Abhishek used a slightly different version. The standard idiom is shout something from the rooftops. It means to publicly and enthusiastically announce something. For example, she was so happy about the promotion, she wanted to shout it from the rooftops.
I work with people that inspire me. I work with people that instill a certain amount of belief that they know what they're doing. And I'm available to them 24 hours a day to in whatever capacity to make the business work the way we want it to work.
The verb instill means to gradually teach or introduce an idea, feeling, or habit so that it becomes a lasting part of someone's thinking or behavior. It's often used with abstract nouns like confidence, discipline, fear, or values. For example, good teachers instill a love of learning in their students.
But you know what I mean. Are there still places where you can get some peace and not be you?
Well, it depends because, on some level, if you just do it quietly, people can leave you alone. The Indians are very expressive people. We're very tactile, we're very passionate people, and we love to express our love.
The word tactile means related to or involving touch. When describing people, it means comfortable with physical contact like hugging, patting, or touching. In British English, the word is pronounced tactile. In American English, a reduced form, tactile, is pronounced. The same pronunciation difference crops up in several other words ending in "ile," such as sterile, agile, and fertile.
When you travel abroad, yes, you do get a bit more freedom. My wife and I can walk around, and we do love to go just to the supermarket and go shopping, which is something we don't do in India. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
If in India you go like grocery shopping, you're going to shut the place down.
Yeah, right.
And you don't want to inconvenience anyone.
At the beginning of this clip, Abhishek used a discourse marker or filler words, if you will. But in general, he hardly ever uses filler words, which is a huge plus point.
Who are listening to this, I want people to know that your parents are both like icons of cinema, of Bollywood. Your grandfather, incredibly important poet. You come from this very esteemed family. During that time off, did you get any perspective on the pressures that come with that?
I got that perspective on my first day on my first film.
Really?
Yes.
In this context, perspective means a deeper understanding or a clearer point of view about a situation. Abhishek's reply goes to show that he gained that understanding right away on his first shoot.
I was this 21, 22-year-old straight out of university in Boston, and I came onto this film set and I got my first job, and I was just so happy to be doing it, and I had not really thought about the kind of pressures and all that, but it kind of dawned on me when I was about to do my first shot. And I remember we were shooting in a small town in state of Gujarat.
Abhishek used one of my favorite phrasal verbs, dawn on. It means to realize something for the first time. When he said it kind of dawned on me, he meant that the truth or weight of the situation suddenly became clear, e.g. the pressure of living up to his family's legacy.
I was doing the shot and I remember there were actually tractor loads of people that had come from neighboring villages because they got to know that Amitabh Bachchan, that's my father, son is going to be doing his first film. And I remember at one point in time, there were thousands of people behind the camera just waiting to see what is this guy going to do.
God.
Abhishek used the phrase tractor loads of people to vividly describe a large crowd. The term plays on truckload or busload, but replaces it with tractor, which provides a local, rural flavor. The more I study his English, the more I seem to admire him. So, as promised, see someone, do something means you watch the whole action happen. While see someone doing something, ing, means you caught them in the middle of the action. Both are correct with different shades of meaning. Use the first for complete events and the second for ongoing ones. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with a friend. If you have any video ideas for me, mention them in the comments.